Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. My name is Kenneth Ray Coleman Jr. Don't forget the Junior. And you are tuned in to another episode of Let's Talk About It podcast. We are on episode number 2 for this season. This one, we got a special guest on the line and we got a special topic that we got. The topic is I didn't want to, but I needed to. What made me start my healing process? And we got Robert Hale on the line. Before I introduce him or let him have his way, we was on a Dear Shamika podcast for father figures, just having a father discussion. And man, when I heard him talk, I was just like, man, this brother's something special. Like, this dude dropping some wisdom, some knowledge. Then I keep linking up with Dear Shamika and hear him on the podcast. I was like, dude special, man, dude special. So welcome, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to be on the show.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you blessing us because I know you finna go ahead and drop them gems, man.
I got to. It's my job to.
Yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. And you let me know where you want to go and where you want to take it. So how would you define healing before you started the process? And did it change once you started the process?
Uh, Before the process, I really didn't have a definition about it. I really did because I knew that my life wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go, but I didn't feel like I needed help.
Right, right.
I felt like I had the tools I needed to get me, what I liked or what I wanted. And so I felt like, okay, let's go. But when I recognized I needed to heal was I noticed how negative my actions were affecting other people that I love and the relationships that I were a part of.
I got you. I got you.
I said, I need something. I don't know what, but I need something. So I learned along the way that, go to the doctor. So if something wrong with, how I feel, I should go to the doctor. Well, something's wrong with, how I was perceiving things. And it just wasn't adding up. I feel like I was doing everything I need to do to have success in certain areas in my life, but it just wasn't happening the way that I thought it would. In theory, right, it made sense, but in actuality, it wasn't adding up. I needed help.
I got you. I got you. Do you feel like healing is overrated or underrated?
I feel like it's underrated simply because of how certain communities talk about it. I ain't crazy, or they'll put certain stigmas on it, besides what's actually happening. And it's going through a process of eliminating certain ideas and learning new ones so you can handle what's going on in your life a little bit better. And a lot of times we need help with that. We need maybe a mentor or a coach or a therapist or somebody in our corner that has positive things going on in their life so they can kind of hear you out, let you vent, and also provide maybe positive solutions to going in the direction that you're trying to go in. Because if you had it all together, you wouldn't need help.
Right.
You would need it.
Right. So what made you feel like something, what made you, when you started the healing process, what made you feel like you needed to, that you didn't want to do it, excuse me?
Because I had it all together. I felt like, there are successes, on different levels, on different topics, in just about every area of life. And so you measure what success is to you. So I felt like I was making decent money, I was providing, I was, doing certain things that I was successful, but I didn't have emotional intelligence. I didn't have the wherewithal to understand how what I was doing was making other people feel.
Right,
I didn't know. I just missed I was just missing. I was kind of nonchalant about a lot of things. And, if you felt like that about me, then it's your fault. And that was kind of the approach I was taking to it. And so, you can't be like that if you're talking about, living with someone or having a family and stuff like that, because what they have to say and how they think matters too. And what you do does affect them. It does. And you have to have some type of, you have to be aware of that. It's very important. And I needed help with it. I just wasn't aware.
I think one of the stumbling points for me is that, in life I was going through, the way I wanted to go and I was getting pleased, but I wasn't happy.
Right.
or
Right.
I was having a lot of self gratification, but it
Right.
wasn't leading to substance in other people relationships that I wanted. And so I was
Exactly.
like, man, something got to change because
Yeah.
this that temporary fix that I get,
Yeah.
it ain't lasting long enough to sustain me to the next go around or whatever.
That's right.
So were you no, let me say this. What were some of the tools that you used to get started on your healing process?
The first step I actually took was going to a therapist. Actually, I didn't try to do any type of self help on my own type of things. Man,
Okay.
I was like, I knew that I could go. I knew I had the opportunity. I knew it was an option for me, and I never been. And so I was like, I hear what everyone else is saying about it, but everyone that's giving me their opinion, they never been. And
Uh,
so and so I went. I was like, well, I'll be the guinea pig. I'll be the first, I'll be the first person out of the people that I know to go. I mean, what don't hurt you make you stronger. And it
right.
truly made me strong. So I suggest that, even if people don't truly know their next step, it's a good starting place because I mean, it's not gonna hurt you. And if you don't feel like it's helping, you don't have to go.
Yeah. Did you when you first met with the person, did y'all hit it off right off or did you have to go to another person to get a
How this was presented to me was a group therapy. So it's kind of like AA. So you sat in the room
okay.
with others, and then it was one, person that kind of, led the room.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
person was a therapy, that was a licensed therapy. So we would sit down and you could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I know that for me, the only way that you could truly help me is for me to tell you the truth. And so I just laid it all out there and I was like, the only way for me to get help, the help that I need is I gotta just take the judgment off myself. People gonna think what they're gonna think, but I gotta get it out there so I can get the help I need.
Were you ever reluctant or did you go through a phase of where you had the judgment on you or you were like ashamed of some of the stuff that you had to get off your
Mm,
chest?
no, because I've always been one of the I'm a proud person. So it's like even if I was doing something wrong and you found out about it, well, now you get to teach me how to do it right. I never looked at it as a shadow or cat. I never put that on myself like that. I'm naturally not like that. And so when I went into the class, I was wide open. I was ready to receive whatever I was gonna get.
That's awesome right there. I like that. In your healing process, they say sometimes healing can be a lonely or a alone process. One is a state of mind, one is a state of being. Did you experience any of that?
Yes, but again, my upbringing it was a little different too. I spent a lot of time by myself as a kid. I got one other brother, but we're enough years apart to where we didn't go to school together, and
Okay.
so I didn't have to deal with it. Take your little brother with you. I didn't. We was just two different age groups, so it didn't happen that way. And so I was always by myself a lot. And it's good and it's bad because some like even now I got a whole family and I still feel alone at times. But I also understand the nature in which it comes from and how for me it's just a normal way of being because I came up that way. It's not necessarily good or bad. It could be bad if I start shedding my family off to try to make time to be by myself, but I don't have to. I do this. In my home, I provide them with all the time that they ask of me. And in that, I get the time that I need. So I don't have to really try to fight so hard to get it because they get tired of seeing me because I'm always showing up. So
Right,
it's like,
right,
I get to go and do what I'm gonna do. I don't fish, but I'm gonna just speak hypothetically. If daddy want to go fish, they gonna let me. They ain't gonna trip.
right, right. What was one of the hardest things that you had to come into realization about yourself during this process? Like,
Uh,
is there
that I
anything
was
that
wrong. I
okay,
was wrong. I was wrong. Like there was, again, I'm a proud person. So I'm used to, execution. I'm used to doing my homework. I'm used to really taking my time and focusing on whatever it is that I'm doing. And the fact that I'm failing in my relationships, man, it's not sitting well with me. It just wasn't sitting well with me. But also, my childhood growing up, I didn't see that either though. It wasn't in my home. I grew up, my parents got divorced. And so I didn't see examples of my parents giving me that. And so because of that, in my adult relationships, it was starting off a certain way, and I was continuing certain cycles that I disliked growing up. And so
Yeah.
I needed help. Again, I didn't grow up with the opportunity or the answer. I was looking around, I didn't see it. And so I said, I need to get some help. I need new better ideas about this. Because I can't, again, I'm trying to have fruitful relationships with my wife and my kids. And it's just not happening with the thoughts or the way that I know how to do things. It wasn't working out.
Right, right. I respect that. Respect that. Did you lose any meaningful relationships and people during this process?
Yeah, because you change your mindset. And so naturally well, they're gonna let themselves go. I'll say it like that because to not want to be around me is to miss out on a blessing.
Right.
I'm trying to learn every day. I'm trying to do better every day. And if I led you wrong, I'm gonna apologize to you. I'm one of those type of people. And so again, to not want to be around me, that's your loss. I didn't feel like I lost anybody that wasn't supposed if they wasn't supposed to be there, they wasn't supposed to be there. So again, as my mindset changed, then I noticed certain people just wasn't around as much. I did notice, but did it hurt me? Did it bother me? Nah, because that wasn't benefiting my growth. I was leaning more towards a positive way of thinking. And so you do things differently. You do things in a more positive way, a more open way. You ain't trying to hide and you ain't trying to you're doing things in a different way. You're doing it in the light. And so naturally, those people want to stay in the dog. And so, I mean, they can't, it's like vampires. They can't come outside when you come outside. So they're
Right.
gonna spend this time being around you.
That's what I always tell people. I say people like to eat off unhealthy people or
True.
unhealthy things. And so
Yeah.
when a person starts their healing journey, their healing process, like they taste different. They acquire different. And so
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want that no more. Like it's like me going to the buffet all my life, and now I have experienced a finer, the diner or a restaurant or a
Right.
hotel. That taste is different. You know what I'm saying? We can't be a glutton. You got to be specific in what you ordering and what you're doing. So everybody ain't gravitating towards that.
Yeah. A lot of people find what they at. They don't want to entertain any newness.
Right.
They just don't. They find with the place that they at, and that's fine. Everybody got their own journey, and we get to include what we want in it. And so, hey, it's it's no slight to them. I love them still. If they want to be around, they can be around. But it is what it is. I ain't losing no sleep about it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. What's something that you could share with us, man, that might make someone else's journey a little bit easy, or they might be a little bit more open and receptive to it?
Uh, the judgment that you are placing on yourself is way heavier than the judgment of others. If
Mm,
you can get out of your own way, then you can go down the path of success that you're trying to get down. So whether it be you want to be successful in relationships, a job, or get a new house, if you can do that, you'll get there.
man, that's simple right there, but that's deep right there. That's something that I even struggle with as far as the
It's
judgment
difficult.
or
Yeah, it's difficult, and that's why I wanted to make sure I was loud with it, but also kept it simple so the explanation of it's just simple and honest. It's like, man, most cases we are in our own way. Most cases.
facts, facts. I mean, I want to dive into this just a little bit, but how did you get to that place of, I know you said you were proud and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
how did you get to that place where judgment for self wasn't that big of an issue for you? Because I
Because
struggle with it.
I wanted better for me, and the first step in doing that, I came up with this idea. I said, the person that I want to be, my kids don't see. And
Mm,
so when I thought of it like that, I said, I'm the only person that can change their projection. Only me. I can change what my children see. And but on the outside, I'm also, I'm a public figure, I'm an entrepreneur, I got a lot going for myself. So I'm also worried about that image too. And that image was kind of being a little bit too loud. And the people that's in my household, my children, my wife, they don't like me. I'm getting attention on this side, but on this side, I ain't getting the type of attention that I know is worthwhile. I'm not new to making some money, so I understand that everything ain't about money. I'm already over it. I'm already past it. I get it. I know what's up. So when everything really was clicking, it was like, man, I really gotta hone in on paying attention to my family and doing everything I needed to do, to be a better person for my family. And the only way to be a better person for my family was to be a better person for myself.
Okay.
I
Okay.
had to show up for me first. And so it started drowning out what everybody else was saying. And it changed the structure and the order and how I did things. First, I wanted to make sure that I was walking in this light. And so in order for me to do that, I got to constantly hold myself accountable. So how do I do that? I keep on saying the same gospel every day. Every day you're going to hold me accountable too, because you're going to say, Rob, I saw you doing this, or I remember when you said this. And so I'm constantly being that person who I want my kids to see. So I kept showing up for them. I kept showing up as a husband. I kept showing up as a father. I kept showing up as an entrepreneur. I just kept showing up and focusing on these particular areas, and it was drowning out their judgment. It just kept drowning out because my kids like me now.
Mm.
My wife like me now. They showing me attention now, and they also giving me something that outside judgment can't give me, and that's love, because it's unconditional, because we live together. They know me inside and out, through and through. They live with me. All them
Yeah.
other people that's judging me, they don't live in the same house with me.
Right, right. Do you think it's a difference between, how they people always say, I'm just hard on myself, opposed to being judgmental to yourself? Or
I kind of like I kind of, I'm sorry to cut you out, but I kind of feel like they kind of want an assign. It's just perspective, how you choose to look at it.
okay,
It's how you choose to look at it, because holding yourself accountable is being hard on yourself, because you're not waiting on anybody to catch you when you fall. You're looking at every step you're taking, and you basing it off some type of metric. And because you're doing that, and you're a leader, you don't want to lead nobody wrong, you're gonna be hard on yourself. But you don't have to look at it as being hard on yourself. I look at it as me trying to be better, the better person that I could be for myself, so I could be the best person for the people that look up to me. And so for me, it ain't hard. It's like, that's what I want. I'm choosing that path. I want that. Otherwise, I could have just, it's a lot of type of man that you can be in life. But I
right,
wanted to be this type of man.
okay. I respect that, man. That's dope. How did your views on relationship change once you started that healing process?
I realized that most people don't know how to cohabitate. Period. They just don't know how to live with nobody. Because that was my problem. I understand, and so it grew broader. I realized that most people don't know how to work on a team. They just don't. They
Right.
just don't. They have no character or characteristics or examples of working on a team. If most of us grew up in broken households, what's that? That's teaching you how to work alone by yourself. The separation. That's not teaching how to work on a team. And so, how do we change that? How do we challenge that? When I was growing up, I always used to say everything started at home. And so that, okay, I need help, because I don't want my home to end up like the home I came from. I want to build a home that's a cornerstone for not only myself and my family, but my environment. I want people to also look at my family and say it's possible. It is possible. I know it's rare. I know I don't see it all day every day long, but it is possible. So what do they do? What do he do? What do he think like? And so that's why I like to talk. That's why I like to speak and try to be motivated and positive about this particular thing, and also be loud about it, because it's so much of the other stuff.
Right, right. I always tell people, and I think a lot of people want companionship instead of relationship. Companionship is somebody that you can call at your leisure to come fulfill
Right,
this need or satisfy me. But the relationship is that work that I got to put in every
right,
day. The challenge is like, and
right.
and what you said, people are used to individual sports. They good at golf and tennis, but they don't know how to play basketball or baseball.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And that was the biggest thing. That was my one of my biggest things, is learning how to be a team player. Because I knew that was gonna affect my marriage, and so I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I'm 36 years old now, and I had never had a job my adult life. My W-2 come from me, and so being able to grow in that way, I understood that the only way that my business was going to grow even further was if my home life was good. And so that's it. I was really kicking my own self in the butt about getting this and learning this, and unlearning all the stuff that I had learned to get where I was at, so I could relearn the new theories and things to get me to where I wanted to go, especially with my relationship with my wife and my children. They're all different, they're all unique, and I wanted to have my own personal relationship with each person in my family, and that take a lot of time. And it also take a whole lot of give, you know what I mean? Because we got different ideas. We grew up in different times, different eras, and something that was taboo with when I was growing up may not be taboo with my kids. And so I got to learn to be, well rounded. I got to learn to be understanding, and I just got to listen. I can't force the way that I knew it down their throat. I got to be open and mindful that I share this space. I also share this brain space too. It ain't just about how I think it should be, because I could be dead wrong, and they could change the world. And so, I just have it made me be more open and want to just again hone in on that path and go down that path, because it's not talked about a lot, and it's kind of drowned out upon, because again, you got a lot of hurt people and they trying to make sure that they be loud about being hurt instead of actually taking the time to be loud about finding, the healing that they need.
Yeah, two things. Number one of the things that I respect the most about you is your intentionality. I think we live in a society that wants credit for giving effort.
Right.
And when I hear you often, you didn't just give effort, you set a goal and you made sure you completed that goal. And
Right.
I think, that intentionality is like, I respect it, because I know folks that's been trying to lose weight for 20 years. And that moment that they didn't get the results for 1 week, they was done with it. So
Yeah,
when
that
you
was
try, you just want to look good in other people's eyesight. But when you set a goal and you saying, this what I'm doing, the good, the bad, and everything in between, like, I respect that, man. That's
thank you.
dope.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, man. I noticed I had I'm good with picking up on patterns. I'm just naturally good at it. I could draw and stuff like that. I'm naturally an artist. And so I knew it was a process in which I was doing things. And because that's how I was able to be successful as an entrepreneur. I understand the patterns, I see the processes, but I also saw the same thing in my own personal healing. And I was able to when people would meet me, and I was actually when I actually was driving a tow truck when I was towing, I would call it tow truck therapy, because if your car broke down, I kind of pick you up. You're gonna ride with me about 30 to 45 minutes. It's pretty awkward if I didn't say nothing. And so usually when I would start talking and they would hear me speak, they would have a whole different idea about just tow truck drivers, period, and then just me, what they saw, period. They like, dude, you don't sound like what I put on you. And I'd be like, I knew I was just taking it off because I knew you put it on me. I
Right,
just knew,
right.
but I'm not offended by it. I understand that this is an interview. This is my opportunity to explain myself and talk to you, and also help you if I can. I know my way is very helpful to a lot of people, and I know that because I got the stats. I've helped several people to get over a lot of what they're doing, and so now I'm solidifying my mentoring. And I've been building it out with the website and everything like that. But I've been doing this for probably about 4 years now, just on the side, just mentoring people, making sure I, do everything that I need to do, and also provide them with the tangible things that they need to help with their journey. So it's things like workbooks and planners and stuff like that. So I'm just growing the platform even bigger now, because it's something that I've managed to be successful at. Again, I've managed to change all of this spaghetti that I had going on in my brain. I'm able to have clear lines of thought and able to express myself verbally without having to get loud or raise my hands or stand over people or be so bullying. I'm able to speak. I learned how to articulate my words. I was very much an introvert, and you can't tell, because I took the time to work on myself.
Man, they say give people their flowers. Now I got to give you yours, man. And I ain't trying to boost your head up and nothing like that. But I respect what you about, man. And it's no BS. Like when you said something that people don't understand, I think fully. And when you said, I'm putting words into your mouth, so let me know if I'm getting anything. But you had to look at yourself in the mirror, and you had to naked and unashamed, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and all that stuff. And you said that you were not good articulating your feelings, so you knew what bad things or what negative connotations came with that, and that's something that you worked on. And I feel like, can we be honest enough when we look at ourselves in the mirror and say, man, these are my shortcomings. you didn't cause this problem, even though you hitting this trigger, but can I work on
Right.
it? Can I articulate my feelings? Can I, because
Right.
I'm really trying to say something in my mind, but I can't find
Right.
the words and it's causing separation between us. How
Conflict.
do
Yeah.
I bridge that gap?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like a lot of people may not necessarily be able to bridge it like exactly like me, but I know there are certain things that you could tell me that'll help me give you the proper tools on your journey that you
Right,
need.
right.
It may not be what I need. You and your wife may need to go sit down and paint a picture together
Hmm.
because you could take that picture and those colors and explain something to her in a way that you may not be able to verbalize. And that activity may draw y'all closer, or it may help you find who you really need to be with.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time. I said sometimes you the individual might not be able to articulate it, but you can play a song to get somebody
Right,
a better understanding
right,
of your mental in that moment.
right.
So, what are some benefits that you can share with us that you came into fruition, with your healing process?
People being more helpful to me, just whatever I'm doing. My family being more helpful. My kids having less behavioral problems. Uh, mm, Me and my wife getting a lot closer and being patient through our arguments. So we still argue and stuff, but it's not a fist fight. It's not a pissing battle. It's not. It's more of a battle of the minds because she's smart as hell and I'm smart as hell too. And so it's just having the will to keep going without it being exhausted. Really, at this point, because it's like I know you're right, but I think I'm right. But I trust you. I love you. I know you're right too, but I think I'm right now. And so it's just just having enough energy to just to keep up with our little slice of madness. But it really ain't nothing like how it used to be. We've grown quite a lot. We're able to express ourselves in a way where it's not a survival trigger anymore. It's not no what you say to me. It's not. It's more like a I ain't understand what you said, or I ain't hear you, or the response is not so aggressive. It's just not. It's like I know you're not trying to hurt me. I know you're not trying to do anything wrong. I know you're not trying to check me. I know you ain't trying to, tell be my English teacher. I know it ain't coming from that place. More than likely you're trying to get understanding. And so if that triggers in my head as soon as you respond to me and I say, okay, she's trying to get an understanding, I'm gonna be less aggressive in the next step, period. I may not even stand up. I may not even raise my hand. If I take that mindset to it. And so we have like a structure to how we communicate. You know what I mean? Because it has to be that way. So certain understanding won't have to be explained all the time.
Right.
Like for instance, when we walking together and we want to turn instead of saying I'm going that way, we just guide each other with our finger like this. We both do it. We just do this. So because we might be in the middle of a conversation, and a lot of times when you feel like you're saying something important, and the person say, "Hey, hold on, let's go this way," you feel interrupted. Now you're in survival mode. And so, in order for us to not trigger that in one another, we just point like this, and it naturally just guides us, kind of like hurting each other. And so, but at the same time, now we're not cutting each other off. So now we're cutting each other off less, and so now everybody feeling heard, everybody feeling like what they got to say is important. Now, but again, it made me more aware. It just made me more aware of how what I'm doing really dictates how a person can feel. We don't want to be responsible for that, but it's true. We do things in certain ways or have certain behaviors that just trigger people. And instead of trying to be so defensive about behaving that way, understand how you can do it better. How can you articulate how you trying to express yourself in a way and where it don't trigger them? Because if you truly want to grow with somebody, you're truly not trying to hurt them, then why wouldn't you want to understand that?
Right. Right. And I think another thing, like one of the benefits, man, you realize that um, you like the people and not just love the people. Like you learn
Right.
how to like people that you
Yeah.
love. Like
Yeah.
you want to hang around them. And here's one
Yeah.
of the things that we don't understand. When we in relationships with people, we realize that they're not our enemy.
Right.
So I can't treat you like my enemy.
Yeah.
And so once you understand that concept, you get to just the environment is just a little bit better.
Yeah. True.
What was what was an uncomfortable moment and what was a comfortable moment that you don't mind sharing with us?
I'm pretty much an open book. I don't really have no uncomfortable moments. I talk about everything. I tell my whole story. I don't hold nothing back because I was a public figure before social media, so a lot of people are a part of my story. So I can't lie.
Right.
They're gonna pop up on social media in my comment. They're gonna be like, no, 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 man. So because of that, again, I'm an accountability person, so I always jump in the light. Because I don't care if you hold me accountable too. So it's a part of being accountable. It's like, well, it's helpful. It's a positive habit because I know you're gonna say something. So let me just be careful and be mindful of myself and be aware of myself. And so again, it's a perpetuating thing. Uh, I would say on the flip side of that, something that somebody would probably consider embarrassing. Me and my wife been knowing each other since the seventh grade, and so out of our whole time being in a relationship, again, we 36 now. She a couple months older than me, and she left me. When she left me, it changed a lot of things, but I had to throw my pride in the trash to get her back. And so, in the broad daytime, I went over her house and I knocked on her door. I had got myself together. I was knocking on her door, knocking on her door. She said, why you out there making so much noise? I'm gonna call the police on you. I said, I don't care who you call on me. I just want you to know I want my second chance. Like I really put in the effort. I really put the time into it. I really made sure I wasn't just saying what I was saying just to try to get you back. Now I really was at the therapist talking to them people, man. Come on, like, come on, open the door and give me a chance. I'm serious. Like, I understand. You ain't got to explain to me why I went wrong. I know exactly why I went wrong. And I just need another opportunity. I need another chance to show you. I understand. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you been. I understand. I get it. I get it. And so that was probably like, something that a lot of people, I would say it probably stunts a lot of people's growth because they don't want to put their pride to the side. But I knew what I did.
Right.
And I can either keep lying to myself about it, or I can go try to get some rectification in my life, because it's my life.
Right.
I don't,
Right.
if the people laughing at me for standing on her porch, they ain't gonna, at the end of this, whatever going on, man, I'm trying to go get my future. So whatever they're laughing at me, I'm trying to go secure my future, man. And it wasn't no security in no money. It wasn't no security in no material things. It was security in people, man. I was trying to go secure my kids and my now wife. So it's like, man, I had to let the judgment of others just, but they can have it. But I also had to stop judging myself so I could take the steps, because again, I control the steps, and the only reason why I wasn't stepping is because of what I thought. It wasn't nobody physically in front of me stopping me. So I just, mentally and physically, once I took it all off, I was able to make the next step. I just said, man, I got to put my pride to the side and go get me back. Now, because this again, I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what. I just didn't know where. So I got some help. And so for me, my first step was going to see a therapist, which is not traditional at all. And
Right.
that's what made me do it. That's what made me do it. It's like I've always been a non-traditional person. I just always have. I always been curious. So I question everything. And so this questioning was a good thing. It's like, well, why people don't go to therapy? I'm going. Why I don't know nobody that been? I'm going. Why can't nobody? I'm going. And so I went. I was like, the only way for me to really know what's going on over there is for me to go and see it. So since that first initial visit of going, I've actually been to therapy on two other occasions too. Simply because I was so sad, I couldn't figure out how to get over my sadness. Like, it's people walking around and be like, man, you don't know what I'm going through because I'm covering up with a smile. Well, that's unhealthy. And that's one thing that signifies to me that you don't understand that you may be depressed or falling into a depression. If you know that you're sad and you covering it up with a
Right.
smile,
Right.
you're proud saying that. It's like you don't understand that you might be depressed. You might need to go seek some type of help. Like, a therapy doesn't necessarily. A lot of us got family therapists. Like, before my grandma passed away, she was like a family therapist. You go see her, she had a solution, to what was going on. So every therapist doesn't have to be paid, but I'm saying it this way because in today's time, a lot of us don't have grandma. A lot of us don't have that senior person in our family that we can go get that advice from, that person that got their life experience or their life wisdom. And so I suggest, a lot of us got jobs, a lot of us got health care, and a lot of times we can go to therapy for free. We just don't even know it because we listen to everybody else that ain't never went.
Super facts, super facts. Super true in all what you just said. I think when it's all said and done, man, our lives are like a book that we write. And
Right.
sometimes we need a ghostwriter for certain chapters.
Yeah.
And sometimes that indirect or directly therapists, counselors, sometimes we got it in our family, our friends, our
Yeah.
accountability partners, like whatever
Right.
you want to call it. Sometimes you need that ghostwriter
Right.
to articulate some things for you or to bring to light some things for you. And the
Sure.
question is that are you paying attention to it?
Exactly. Are you aware that you need some help? Like that's because it's like it's just like hey, the first step to solving the problem is admitting that you have a problem. So and so I wouldn't I in my life, even in my childhood, I was picked on a lot, so it made me want to be successful and overachieve. And so I understood that it's a process to achieving things. You set a goal, you do your homework. It's a process to achieve things. School teach our kids how to do it every day, but unfortunately, I realized it till I had kids of my own. But it helped me to define certain structures in the process so I could solve my own problems. And in there, I understood when to ask for help.
I see you got the products in the back, man. We're gonna let you go, but tell us about Hell Care products, man. How we get ordered? How we get some, man?
First and foremost, I'm gonna break it down. Healthcare company is an umbrella business, because I'm an entrepreneur, I have a lot of businesses. So, healthcare company is the branch that I decided to employ all my wellness things under. And so, with the mentoring, before I got started in the mentoring and selling digital products and stuff like that, I wanted to have a actual, tangible product that I can, sell right now. But I also get you can follow me through a visual process of just me setting the goal and changing something about myself. And so before my beard was real patchy, and when grow, you could clearly see and definitive bald spots and stuff in my beard like that. And I wanted to grow it longer too. So over time, when I first started, my beard was patchy when I started this company, which is the Beard Experience. And then and that's basically a branch of the hair care company. And so I sell sugar scrubs, beard butter, all online on haircarecompany.com. And you can go on there and get beard products and check out videos. I got YouTubes on there explaining how to use the products. And also on YouTube, I tell you like different things about the products that may help you in the process of growing the beard. I also post, about health and stuff like that too, because believe it or not, health is very important when you're talking about growing hair. So I just kind of break down those different things in the beard experience. And you can go on haircarecompany.com and get those products.
Man, we appreciate you joining the podcast today, man. You have been a treat. I look forward to a few more that we gonna do.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, you agree with it, man.
I agree. Hey, look, I agree, y'all. I agree. So
And
I most definitely like talking to you, man. You bring things out of me that I'm most definitely interested in speaking on, which is just about everything.
oh, I
So,
appreciate it.
man, I look forward to being on your show again, man, for real.
Thank you very much.